One more time, together please. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare one more time, just together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jai Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jai Vrindavan Dham Krishna Balaram Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Yuga Hare Krishna Mantra Ki Jai Hare Rama Sankirtan Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. So we will begin with Mangala Sharan prayers. I hope all of you have at least remember the Mangala Sharan prayers. So we will try. So we will begin with Mangala Sharan prayers, and then on May 2nd we have Gita Champions. Some of you have participated in it. have very nice memories. All the adults and kids participate in shloka memorization and recitation, and we will also be having speech competition. So I will show you. Madhavi Mataji has shared in the group for registration. If you see TV remote anywhere, okay, good. So we will begin with Mangalachan prayers, and then we will go through the shloka that we will be having for the May 2nd Gita Champion Festival. We will do the Mangalachan prayers together. I hope you are familiar by now. It is a specific pose which can give you any power you desire. This pose is called Namaskar because it's a very humbling position. And whenever we keep our hands here, we are keeping our hands to our heart. And this is like a gate. So whatever we accept goes straight into the heart. So we will recite these Mangalachan prayers. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tada Mahyam Dhanati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhaya Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vamcha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radharani Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukhaṁ karoti vācānaṁ pangurnaṁ yate Kripa tamaham Shri Guru Vinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram. Hare Krishna. So these are the Krishna in Kali Yuga has come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. He gave only 8 verses as instructions, documented 8 verses. He taught others, but he himself gave only 8 verses. This is like starting from controlling the mind, cleansing our consciousness, all the way up to the highest spiritual ecstasies are revealed in these 8 verses. So we will try to recite some of them. For Gita Champion on May 2nd, we have 4 verses to memorize. So it's a good exercise actually. You'll be amazed when you start practicing these, how easy it is to be Krishna conscious. It is easier to say no to the lower nature of the mind, the Facebook, the TikTok, all the other struggles that we may have will feel easier to control when you are in touch with spiritual knowledge, but particularly verses. So we will try reciting this verse. So please kindly repeat. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam.
Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam.
Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam.
Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam.
Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamruta swadanam.
Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamruta swadanam.
Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
I'll recite one more time and I'll see if any of you would like to recite. You're welcome to try. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam.
Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam.
Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam.
Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam.
Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamruta swadanam.
Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamruta swadanam.
Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
So the word by word is here. Deepika Mataji, can I request you to follow? So the word is there and then the English translation is right beneath it. So please read Cheto of the heart, Darpana the mirror, like that.
So my pronunciation may not be very correct for the top one.
Benji, would you like to try? Thank you.
Cheto of the heart, Darpana the mirror, Marjanam cleansing, Bhava of material existence, Mahadavagni of blazing forest fire, Nirvapanam extinguishing, Shreya of good fortune, Kairava the white lotus, Chandrika the moonshine, Vitaranam spreading, Vidya of all education, Vadhu wife, Jivanam the life, Anandam Buddhi Ananda of the bliss. Ambudi means the ocean. Vardhanam, increasing. Pratipadam, at every step. Purna namastas
Purna Amrita Aswadanam. 3 words.
Purna Amrita Aswadanam. Purna Amrita of all the full of nectar.
Okay, I think the battery is over. Aswadanam, giving a taste. Sarvatma, Sarva for everyone. Atma Snapanam, bathing of the self. Param, transcendental. Vijayate, let there be victory. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, for the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Congregational chanting as in everyone coming together and doing kirtan. That's called Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So this verse mentions 7 benefits of doing kirtan together. That is what is mentioned in this verse. We will read the translation. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. So there is lust, anger, greed. So we are not able to see in the mirror clearly right now. We are not able to see who we are. We are not able to perceive the soul nor the super soul because it's clouded, it's dusty right now. So doing Harinam Sankirtan cleanses the dust collected on the heart and thus extinguishes the blazing fire of conditioned life. Whatever vega, whatever urge we have to open Facebook, Netflix, or whatever things that we are not proud of but we are pushed, it extinguishes that fire of conditioned life. It also extinguishes the repeated birth and death also. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. Moon rays are supposed to cool us down. Moon rays are supposed to give nourishment, taste to the fruits, to the vegetables. It gives the juice and taste to vegetables. So similarly for us also, Harinam Sankirtan, it gives us that juice that we are longing for, that we are looking for. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It is the essence, it is the conclusion of all the transcendental knowledge. So what is the result of transcendental knowledge? Somebody who is full of knowledge will do Harinam Sankirtan basically. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss. So it's an ocean, transcendental happiness is an ocean, but it keeps increasing it. So the huge ocean, but it keeps increasing. And sometimes people ask, oh, so in spiritual life I have to do a lot of austerities and in the end I will enjoy, but not in the middle. No, this is saying, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious at every step. Purna Amrita, the nectar, Purna, fully, Purna Amrita Aswadanam, Pratipadam. At every step we will be able to relish the transcendental rasa that's available. So it's a very beautiful verse that describes the glories of chanting basically. So we will recite, I think Madhavi Mataji shared a link to audio recording, maybe YouTube link I think. She also shared pictures of this and she also shared a document which has stories connected to these 4 verses, first 4 verses. So you can please start practicing them. We will also try reciting them before the class here. So you are familiar. Every time we have a very tough competition. It's very difficult for us to decide who is the first prize, second prize, third prize. So I have seen adults compete like children, preparing. I saw last time people came with notes and they were preparing till the last minute. They were calling out and then so yeah, please start your preparation. We have about 1 month, 4 weeks left, so it will be nice. We'll do one more verse just to familiar ourselves until we have Srivas Pandit Prabhu. Second verse is this. Please kindly repeat after me.
Prabhu, before that, what is Sikshashtakam? Can you give some interpretation?
Shiksha means instructions. Ashtaka means 8. So these are the 8 instructions that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. So that's why they are called Sikshastakam. Thank you.
Prabhu, when it says Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, the one first came, it says Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, right? So does it mean, is it Hare Krishna chanting or something else also?
Any kirtan of Krishna.
Okay.
Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Samyuk, when everyone comes together, of course, Japa is also included. Kirtana means glorification. So any bhajans related to Krishna and Vishnu Tattva or anyway, so yeah. Please kindly repeat. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shaktis.
Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shaktis.
Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha.
Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha.
Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi. Durdaiva Mitrishamiha Jani Nanuragaha. Durdaiva Mitrishamiha Jani Nanuragaha. I'll read the translation in the interest of time. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to the living beings. So the chanting can give all benedictions, both material and spiritual. And thus, you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names. Because we are all looking for variety. All variety is there in Krishna actually. So he also has hundreds and millions of names, such as Krishna and Govinda, in those names, you have invested all your transcendental energies, all the power he invested, he put all that energy in the names itself. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting these names. There are no hard and fast rules. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. In order to do deity worship, for example, you have to have certain type of years of practice and preparation and purification before you can actually become a pujari. Of course, in Kali Yuga, everything is gone. But chanting of the holy name, no rules. Anyone can pick up a chanting bag and read and chant. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Even though you are so readily available, and you have invested all your energies in the holy name, I have no taste for them. So, Durdaiva Vidrishami Hajane. Durdaivam, what a misfortune. Na Anuragaha. I don't have Anuraga, attachment to chanting. I have attachment to other things. As soon as I say Shah Rukh Khan, it's very nice. Or a cricketer name, they're like, Or our own parents, our own children, they are the name itself is so sweet. We can hear whomever we are attracted and attached to, about them for hours and hours. We can think about them also. We can speak about them also. Because we have attraction and attachment to them. So eventually, this type of lamentation, little bit, is beneficial. So, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying also, in the mood of a devotee. He's also saying, Oh Krishna, I don't have taste for you. We'll discuss more about that later. But this is a instruction on how to pray. What should be the mood of the devotee when we are chanting the holy name. We are thinking, all the energy, everything that I need is in this name. This name has the power to give me any benediction that I want. Only if I have attachment to this verse, this chanting. Hari Bol, His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu ki jai. Let us welcome Srivas Pandit Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Here's one more. Daddy, here's one more.
I'm only filling up. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So I will request, looks like all Prabhus have settled on this side. If it's alright, maybe all Prabhus can turn this side. Then if all Matajis can come all the way forward. I requested Srivas Pandit Prabhu if it's alright to do a podcast style interview, and I requested Shama Kumari to host and churn out some nectar from the discussion. So we'll have one more mic set up here soon. It'll appear in 30 seconds or your money back. For this mic and this time.
So, which is
Sorry.
it's very comfortable.
Hare Krishna. So, some of you are familiar with Srivas Pandit Prabhu. He doesn't need introduction in the ISKCON temple, but for our own purification, for the benefit of some new faces, Srivas Pandit Prabhu has been practicing Krishna consciousness for more than 3 decades. That's 30 years, close to my age. Prabhu has been a very important pillar at the ISKCON temple here. Both Prabhu and his good wife Malini Mataji and his teenage daughter, 16, 18 now? 18 years now. So she chants, his daughter chants 16 rounds every day, has been initiated. So she has a spiritual name and all that. So amazing family. They have rendered so many services, and because of them, so many hundreds and thousands of people got benefited, have come to Krishna consciousness. Prabhu gives what we call as Bhakti Shastri, the systematic Bhagavad Gita training at the temple, which probably has been attended by thousands of devotees from all around US. And he also takes Bhakti Vaibhava class, which is the deep study of the Srimad Bhagavatam that you see on the upper corner there. So Prabhu, he is my teacher there in Bhakti Vaibhava. He kindly tolerates all of us. And of course, he's a mine of knowledge, but that is not the most important quality of his. He is a mine of wonderful Vaishnava qualities. He is tolerance personified, love personified. The amount of service he does is extraordinary, and the quality in which he serves also is amazing. I can speak on for another half an hour, but I thought, since there are some new faces, I requested Prabhuji if we can have some sort of introductory type of discussion also, so that way we get to know how Prabhu's own journey and some lessons that we can all learn from our own journey as well. So without any further ado, I will request Shama Kumari and Srivas Pandit Prabhu to begin. Let us welcome Srivas Pandit Prabhu by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Whoever is short now, that's right. Well, let's see. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshuromilitana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Angam Langayate Shailam Mukham Avrittaya Shrutam Yatkripatamaham Vande Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for in your busy schedule coming over here and giving us your association. We are so fortunate, though I don't have any qualifications sitting next to you, but for the service, please allow me to.
It is my pleasure and honor to be amongst all of you this evening. In fact, I have been meditating on this place of this ashram for a long time. When I come and meet all of you, by Krishna's arrangement, it's today. And my apologies for being slightly late.
Prabhuji, would you have been in Krishna consciousness for a very, very long time, more than 3 decades. So would you please elaborate or please let us know how you came into Krishna consciousness? How did your spiritual journey start?
Sure. I'll tell the long version because we're in the podcast. So my father used to work in Iran, and during that time, before the revolution, there was no temple in Iran, but there was a Hare Krishna restaurant where we went to eat when we went to Tehran. It was probably when I was 7, 8 years old. And then they distributed books of Srila Prabhupada at that point of time. We had those books lying at home and we never read. And during the college, in probably 1990, 1991, my brother, he went to an ISKCON temple. He said, hey, ISKCON and Prabhupada, and we have same books. And then in 1990, probably September, October, I started visiting temple. And that's how it began.
Who are the personalities that you got inspiration from in your beginning stage of Krishna consciousness, or even now also, from whom do you take inspiration?
So just to complete the thought, then this was in Secunderabad when I went to the ISKCON temple in 1991, 92, and then 93 I graduated. I went to Pilani to do my master's. That time before I went to Pilani, I was a little serious, but after I went to Pilani, I got sucked into studies and so on and so forth. It didn't slacken, but I didn't have much of association. Right now, BITS Pilani has a very strong preaching program, that's what I heard. But in those days, that was not there. So after I completed my master's in mechanical engineering in 95 June, I got a campus interview job in Mumbai, and that's how I met my spiritual master in Radha Gopinath Temple in December of 1995. Before that, I was staying with one of my very senior godbrothers. His name was, at that time, Devamrit Prabhu, but now he took a sannyas in 2010, and his name is His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. He was my original mentor, Siksha Guru, and I was truly an inspirational personality. So I was definitely inspired, apart from my own spiritual master. And as of today, we all serve under Vaisheshika Prabhu, so he's an inspiration as well.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for telling your journey. It's not an easy step, being in college and doing the education. getting inspired and taking this serious path. So you are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, you and Mataji, Malini Mataji, and Gitavali, you balance your spiritual life and your work life, family life really well. So what advice would you give us, being in Grahastha ashram or family life? How do we balance both? And how do we prioritize spiritual life and the time management as well?
Well, it's a work in progress. I wouldn't say we have achieved any sort of perfection. But given the demands of the work that is Silicon Valley, my wife works and I work as well. The foundation of our own personal sadhana should be strong, and that should be the goal of life. If we have other services like going to temple and doing so many other things, but if our foundation and is our sadhana, then it becomes a little easier as well. And how do we manage time? As I said, I'm not perfect. I don't know if I even do anything at all properly, let alone manage time. But then eventually it will come to saying no to what is important in your Krishna consciousness and what is not important, and saying no to what is not important. That you will learn over a period of time, or at least I try to learn as much as I can. It is easy to be tempted to take service that has visibility or that has accountability. It's not even visibility. Not everybody is craving for getting credit or somebody. It is just accountability. I don't chant my rounds alone at home. So let me go to temple and do some service. There are other people who are accountable. So the idea is that eventually we have to come back to our own personal sadhana, and it can help as well. Did I answer? Or if the answer is not satisfactory, Naka, then you can just probe me further. So
there cannot be any answer which is not satisfactory. But just follow up for that is like, how do we, in a practical day-to-day life, how do we balance? We all know that our priority should be our spiritual life, but being working men, women, and having children. So how do we prioritize as well as how do we manage the time?
A lot depends on our individual situations. For example, if you are in a work that demands a lot of hours, and you are on an H1B, that really is an issue that can be, then we have to have a different strategy compared to, I have time, but I'm unable to have the taste for Krishna consciousness. So based on our situation, you have to make sure that you develop the taste for Krishna consciousness, at the same time making sure that you have the time. Oftentimes it is not the lack of time but lack of taste. So then we have to literally push ourselves to make sure, because sadhana bhakti, or the preliminary stage of devotion, means that it is a habit forming initiative rather than anything else, because I don't have taste for the names of Krishna. I don't have taste for bhakti. And Rupa Goswami mentions it is perfectly okay to be like that, because in the initial stage we are all like that. So the idea of having a time management, which is mentioned in many books, but simultaneously, how is my taste increasing? Is it increasing or decreasing? Then if that helps, then you can make the time. For example, if a person is very much having taste to play video games, and they like to play video games every day, will they make time or not? They might be the super busy persons. It was not a lack of time, but it was lack of taste, or the presence of taste that is pushing a person to play video games. So it should be a combination of both. Otherwise you'll be frustrated saying that I have implemented the best of time management principles, but I feel that you get the idea. Is that helpful?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
So we recently celebrated Ramayana, Ram Navami, and there are many inspiring moments from from Ramayana. So, what are your favorite pastimes from Ramayana?
There are many, but I just want to highlight few of them, if that's okay with you. When Jatayu saw that Mother Sita was being kidnapped, Jatayu realized that he did not have the strength to face Ravana. It was a suicidal mission to go and try to prevent Ravana from taking Mother Sita. Yet Jatayu, he challenged Ravana and he fought valiantly with Ravana. He was old and Ravana literally clipped off his wings and he fell to the earth bleeding. And when Lord Ram, it was definitely a mission that he lost. And people might be like, Jatayu fought for Lord Ram. Why did Lord Ram give him some strength to defeat Ravana or to prevent these from happening? Or maybe he could have protected Jatayu. Maybe he could have just given the intelligence to Jatayu to kind of not the wings get clipped off, and maybe he could have protected the life of Jatayu. But you can see how Jatayu lost. And when Ravana took away Mother Sita, Rama came and he saw Jatayu lying on the floor, on the ground, and he was overwhelmed with such compassion towards Jatayu that he placed Jatayu in his own arms, and looking at the beautiful face of Lord Ram, Jatayu left his life. And later it's mentioned how Lord Ram performed the final ceremony or the final rites for Jatayu as a son would do for his father. The supreme absolute truth, doing your final rites. What an honor that is. So in spiritual life, what is defeat is not necessarily defeat in the eyes of Lord. And what is success in material life is not necessarily success in spiritual life. That is one lesson that it's a very profound lesson that I learned. That inspired me. And we are talking about the holy names. So we can see how Lord Ram assembled a huge army of monkeys and other human beings, because Ravana was so proud and arrogant. He told Brahma that, or Shiva, that I don't need protection from animals and monkeys. They cannot do anything to me. And so he assembled this human and army and monkey army, and he went to fight Lord Ravana. And when he reached the shores of Lanka, we know the story of how they tried to build the bridge, Ram Setu. And then the rocks fell down. And then what was the solution for that? To write Ram on the rocks. So please understand that by chanting the names of Ram, you can float over the ocean of material existence. If you don't have Ram, then you will sink into the ocean of material existence. And so taking the names of the Lord in this Kali Yuga is the most easiest way to overcome the material existence. And the other point was that Hanuman was actually taking huge mountains and just throwing it into the ocean to build that. Believe it or not, it is 100 yojanas is 800 mile built 800 mile bridge was built in 10 days. That was the efficiency at that time. So you can see on a scale how people were really involved in building that bridge for Lord Ram. And the squirrels were actually taking tiny pebbles and throwing it into the ocean. And it was not like Hanuman was, yes, he is the best of the devotees. And Lord Ram didn't tell the squirrels, you are total losers, like some politicians like to say these days. He was equally appreciative of squirrels and their service, and he stroked the squirrels, and you can see the lines of the squirrels on their back. So the Lord doesn't see the quantity of your service, but the quality of your service, and that is equally pleasing to Krishna, for Lord Ram. So Is that okay? 2 lessons. We can go on, but
Ramayana is such very dear to my heart, Lord Ram, and there are many, many lessons as you have mentioned. And while we are discussing about Hanuman, Hanuman is a epitome of service. So Prabhuji, how do we get at least a tiny drop of that service attitude, doing selflessly? We usually want to do service, many of us want to do service, but which is inclined to our nature. So first question is like, how do we get the service attitude? And second is, if a senior devotee or a spiritual master is giving us a service which is not towards our nature, inclined towards our nature, how do we accept it?
there is a very interesting story in Ramayana about how we know the story of Lord Ram and Sugriva. They formed a friendship, and Sugriva promised Lord Ram that in exchange for killing Vali, I will offer you my assistance and the assistance of my army to help you get Sita. So for 4 months of Chaturmasya, because of it was the rainy season in India, we couldn't do much. There was not much of activity. And even after the Chaturmasya ended, Sugriva forgot that he had this promise to Lord Ram. And he was just enjoying in his castle. And Lakshman came and he was very, very upset and angry with Sugriva. And then Sugriva was scared and he created an army. He sent the army. He divided all the 4 directions into 4 different groups and made the head of each group and sent it. And south was Hanuman. At that point of time, when they reached the tip, then again it's a long story, but I'll condense it. When they reached the tip of the ocean where they're ready to go to jump across, everybody was discussing, how can we jump this much of miles across? And Angada was saying something, and Sugriva, Jambavans was saying something. Like I can jump 10 yojanas. 1 yojana is 8 miles, so 10 yojana is 80 miles. I can jump 10 yojanas. So somebody said, no, I can jump 70 yojanas. I can jump 100 yojanas. And Angad was the son of Vali, and he said, I can jump all the way across to Lanka, but I can't come back because that's my capacity. Hanuman was sitting quietly. He didn't even know what was happening. And the idea is that his desire was to serve Lord Ram, but he was doubtful whether he had the capacity to serve the Lord. And then at that point of time, then Jambavan and others inspired him to go back to his past and say that you are a very powerful person, you can do this. And when that happened, then Hanuman actually got the strength. So sometimes we just need to have complete faith in the service order, and Krishna will inspire you from within to give the necessary courage. And Hanuman, and then Srila Prabhupada, the same thing. His spiritual master said, go preach in the West. And he came to the West in the most unlikeliest of situations, and you can see what happened. So, is that helpful?
That's very helpful. So how do we accept or do the service which is not inclined? Is I think just do it, just obey the orders of the senior devotee or spiritual master, and you will get that mercy from them, and eventually you will start liking it as well. Am I?
Yes, because and then it need not be immediate. Sometimes like Hanuman was not happens, and there was a discussion back and forth. Srila Prabhupada got the order in 1936, but he took a lifetime of preparation. So it might not happen immediately, but the fact that I'm not qualified to execute this order, but I have great faith in their order and I'll be empowered, if that attitude is there, then eventually you will get it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So regarding the service again, so So how much service one can do to their own capacity, or should we feel the pinch that we should take more than our capacity, or should we have where should we draw the line?
So in the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada writes that one should not take more capacity than what one can handle. And it's an interesting question you ask, Mata, because how much can you handle is really the bigger question. The idea there is that I can take the service to the extent initially to start with I'm comfortable. I'm able to do it on a very consistent basis. Because I take a lot of stuff and then I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. There are quite few things will happen. One thing is that you will lose confidence in your own ability to do service. That's the first thing. And the second thing will be that people who are counting on your service will be disappointed. So it is better to take as much service as you can handle in a comfortable way to start with. And when you get the taste for service, yes, you can take more. And then the best or the most important of all services is the chanting of the Maha Mantra, especially for those who have taken the vows of initiation. The 16 rounds is something that is my chief service, and I need to do that. So that should be always the focus. Is that helpful?
Very helpful, Guruji. Thank you so much for the beautiful answer that you related to. The four most important thing is chanting, and I think with chanting we get the power to do the service as well. So while we are talking about chanting, how do we get taste for chanting? I mean, we all, many of us have started chanting at least one round minimum. So have to have focus while chanting because our mind goes here and there, so we are not able to keep the focus through the entire round, what to speak of 16 rounds.
The taste will come over a period of time. And Rupa Goswami mentions in Nectar of Devotion that for a person who's having jaundice, everything sweet will taste very bitter. But the solution is to keep taking that sugar candy as medicine and eventually you will get the sweetness. In the same way, because I have been given the privilege of bhakti, but I have been in this material world since time immemorial and I have become really comfortable with the world here and adjust in the situation of the world. Chanting the names of Krishna seems to be a little bitter, little alien, little strange. And then for those who are very, very new, boring. What are these guys doing? They don't talk of yogas and asanas and they're keeping their health good and they don't talk of mantras and mudras and all those things. They just like a broken tape recorder, you just keep on chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. What are these people there? What are they doing here? Because there are levels at which mind attacks to say that chanting is boring. One thing is the repetitiveness of chanting, and the only thing you have to do. How is it that you just do the small thing and you get the highest benefit? It seems a little too good to be true. Yes or yes kind of situation. Yeah. So the first step is actually I chant and I'll hear. That is my only commitment to chanting. Let my mind go anywhere, and it will go. In the age of cell phones, trust me, it will go. Before the half round is complete, you've checked up, and then in the next 4 rounds, I've made sure I updated all my update on my Facebook feeds, and then office emails are done, WhatsApp groups are checked, the family emails are good. I'm pretty much aware of everything that happened in the world, and then I'm still chanting everything. So having the phone at a distance will definitely help. And the other thing is, this is actually also a phone call. Chanting of the Maha Mantra is a phone call to Krishna. Shall I tell a joke?
Sure.
Of course, this is in time of previous times. I don't know how many people are familiar with when you had rotary phones, you could have called local call, and then you can call, STD call, and then ISD call. So a priest from Vrindavan, he goes to Vatican City, the place of the Pope. And then the Pope is boasting, saying that, I have a direct connection with God. Then the priest is like really surprised, amazed. So really, you have a direct connection to God? Yeah, I have a direct connection. You want to talk to God? And the Pope, he dials the number. And then the Vrindavan priest, he starts talking to God. 2-3 minutes later, the Pope says, hang up, hang up, hang up. And he hangs up and then he asks the question, like, why did you ask me to hang up? God lives very, 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 very far away. So it's a long distance call. I should make it short. And Vrindavan priest says, fine. And then the Pope comes to Vrindavan. And then the priest says to the Pope, you know what? I have a direct connection to God. Ah, really? Yes. The priest of Vrindavan, he dials the phone. And then the Pope talks to God. The call goes on for an hour and 2. And then he hangs up finally. And the Pope is profoundly apologetic. He is, please forgive me. I'm really sorry. I spoke to the Lord for a long time. You must have got a long, huge bill. And the priest of Vrindavan said, nah, it's a local call. God always gives it Vrindavan. Krishna is never takes a step out of Vrindavan. So our chanting of Mahamantra is a call to Krishna. And over a period of time, we fully realized Nam Akari Vauda. That was, I think, that was the one of the verses that was shown. Nam Akari Vauda Nija Sarva Shaktis. That Nija Sarva Shakti. Nija means his own personal. Sarva means all and Shakti. So Krishna is embodied his own personal potencies in the holy name. And when you chant the names of Krishna, it is Krishna directly next to you. It's on you. He's on your tongue. He's on your mind. He's over your. He's pervading your entire body, and you get that feeling that it's truly very personal. Name is not just a bunch of letters, but it's personal. But initially, it is just. And my commitment is: I will chant, I will hear, chant, I will hear, chant, I will hear. The mind will go anywhere. It is okay. You can pull back as and when you can. But I will not give up my tongue and ears to start with. And later will, and mind automatically, as Krishna becomes more and more manifest in your tongue, and the mind automatically gets attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. And then from there, we go on to, there is a famous verse by Rupa Goswami where he says, Tunde Tandavani, where he says that when I chant the names of Krishna, I don't desire 1 year, 2 years are not enough. I need millions and millions of years. The sweetness of Krishna is so intense, I need millions of years to hear it. And I desire millions and millions of tongues, because one tongue, what can I get the taste from chanting the names of Krishna? And the name of Krishna dances in the courtyard of my heart. My whole body becomes overwhelmed. So that is the highest stage, and this is the lowest stage. But we just do it in a very humble and playful way. One thing is the attitude that Krishna, your name is sweetest. I don't have the capacity or the qualification even to utter your name, but somehow or other I'm really fortunate that I'm able to utter your name. And if you have that mood, then Krishna will quickly shower mercy. Long answer, short answer is that.
This is the perfect answer. Very much needed for all of us. I think one takeaway for me is don't give up. Even though if you are not feeling ecstasy while chanting, keep on doing the process and eventually you will get the taste of it. Then hear what you are. Guruji, we hear that hearing is as equally important as chanting. not just hearing the mantra, but hearing about the glories of chanting, glories of the Lord. So we see like a lot of on YouTube, like there are many sources of hearing of the classes. So what suggestion do you give us that from where should we hear? And
It depends. There are a lot of books on the hearing of holy name, the glories of holy name. His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj, he's written quite few books on the holy name. It is good once in a while to kind of know what you are chanting. Just like a mother might take her child for granted. Like, even though the child got 95 marks, like where is the 5 marks kind of situation. It's once in a while good to hear from others saying that your child is really bright and you should be encouraging and so on and so forth. So the holy name is like that. We chant every day, it's the same thing, what's the big deal? But to hear the glories of the holy name is good. The only care should be taken is that, I should keep on hearing the glories of the holy name without actually implementing it. That can be a problematic. One of the traps is that I can go to a lot of self-help books and classes. Yes or yes? It's amazing. Your mind reads that self-help. I am having a problem with, for example, pick one problem. Procrastination. I tend to put off things. What should be done today, I'll do it tomorrow. And then 3 months later, unless there is an emergency, I will kind of forget. Procrastination is a problem. The problem is that if you read books on procrastination, you will feel very nice. Yes, I'm now equipped. But your mind will, if you don't execute on it, the mind again will trap you in the same procrastination. So glories of holy name should be a complementary thing as you chant the names yourself. It's not difficult to chant. But I need inspiration upon hearing the glories. Then you can see how it can kind of be a mismatch. So, but there are plenty of sources. There are books written on that, and then I'll be happy to tell you a few books like that. And there is, Harinam Chintamani, there's so many books that define the glories of the holy name. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also, I think if you really want to get inspired by the holy name, then please read the past name of Ajamal. How this is a very powerful, moving testimony of what is the power of the holy name. I mean, the beauty is that we might not think much. Like a person who has done like severe penances and exercises and severe austerities, they'll be like, I've done something. Well, what did you do? I've been chanting the names of God. That's all. So point is, when we read glories of the holy name, like in Ajamel or other places, then you will realize what is the power, what is the potency, and what is the value of what I have received. So, is that helpful, Mother?
yes, Prabhuji. The question was actually like if we are watching from various sources which are not authentic, can we still hear, or should we only stick to the authentic? Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, clarifying. So, because then the question will immediately like, how do you know what is authentic or what? My definition of authentic is different from yours. Ideally, one of the things that we have in any spiritual life is the fidelity to our Guru Parampara. For example, if you can please your spiritual master, then Krishna is pleased. Because you don't know, I want to please Krishna, but I don't know if Krishna pleased or not. Because did he eat? Right? For example, if Shama Kumari actually makes a beautiful plate of prasadam for Lord Jagannath and offers to her, and then she'll be left wondering, did he eat? What did he like and what he didn't like? It's impossible to get feedback from Krishna, and Krishna doesn't reveal himself that easily. But it is mentioned that if you serve your spiritual master and spiritual master is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. If you have the mercy of Guru, then you have mercy of Krishna. So the fidelity and the faithfulness to the parampara is extremely important. And what is in parampara is what is authentic, and what is not authentic. For example, I can hear the glories of holy name from somebody who is more having Advaita leanings. Essentially, that is not authentic, because eventually they come to the point that holy name is good first step, but throw it out later, because it is just mundane, material thing, and material thing cannot distract them. So you can see how one has to be a little careful in hearing from the sources. And unfortunately, YouTube is replete with so many people, and their motives could be also questionable. The philosophy is questionable. The intent is questionable. So it's better to stick. And I think having a mentors like Shyam Jagannath or Shyama Kumari, they can actually tell you which is authentic, which is not. Is that helpful, Mata?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's very helpful. Prabhuji, while doing this process, while doing the sadhana, we might have many pitfalls. So how do we overcome that, and how to again come, raise and continue our sadhana? Because we might feel at one point, this process is not for me. This is, as you mentioned, chanting becomes boring, service becomes burdensome. So how do we overcome the pitfalls?
One of the beauty of process of bhakti is Krishna says that apichet suduracharo bhajate mamanana ananyava sadhureva samantarya samyak vyasito hi sam. He says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that if a person is very, very ill-cultured, durachara means not of a good character or not of a good behavior, durachara. And sudurachara is extremely, despicable behavior, if you will. But that person is completely fixed on me, that bhajate mam ananya bhak, that person is worshipping me alone, and then that person should be considered as sadhu. They should not be taken as an excuse that I can do Krishna consciousness and I can do anything I want. The whole idea is that if we accidentally fall down, if there are pitfalls, and I tell you from my own experience that I have succumbed to pitfalls many times over the last 30 years. It is, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Matsara, 6 enemies are always sitting in your heart. And the material world is not easy to get out. It's impossible to get out. But this is my great hope, that I am the really fallen person, not elevated, but I have great hope that Krishna is sitting in my heart and He's correcting me. Other forms of yoga processes, Krishna says, do it yourself, buddy. I'm not going to get involved. But when you surrender to Krishna, Krishna is saying, no, I'm going to get involved. Now I'm going to take care of you. And not just in the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that if you fall down accidentally, there is no, first of all, the bhakti is such a process that you walk, you run, you slip, stumble, you are blindfolded, it doesn't matter, you are still on the right path. That is power of bhakti. Assume that you are still fallen into a pitfall, Krishna is saying He'll protect you. The goal is, I will never give up that hope that Krishna will one day, He will rectify me. No matter what it takes, because that is His promise. His promise can never be challenged, stopped, objected, rejected, degraded by any person or force in this universe, because He is the supreme absolute truth. So that power behind me gives me great hope that even if I stumble and fall, I'm open to Krishna. Krishna, I did this mistake, or I'm doing this mistake and I can't come out of it. I'm really having a problem. My past tendencies, I have really some bad habits, or that I'm unable to overcome, or I have some desires that are purely not in devotional service. But no matter what, I have this firm hope that bhakti one day will cleanse. Krishna will be sitting in my heart and He'll be cleansing it. If I don't give up the hope. If I give up the hope, then Krishna will say again, okay, it's your choice. You don't want me to you don't want me to interfere in your life, then I will let you be. So never give up the hope. And I'm telling you, maybe for a few months you stop chanting. You are frustrated with Krishna or whatever, you have lost your job, health, something happened, but never give up the hope that, Krishna is just testing you.
This is very hope-giving, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, all of us are new in Krishna consciousness, many of us. So, one suggestion what would you want to give to us so that we can stay steady in our Krishna consciousness?
Always aspire to chant Hare Krishna and always aspire to be in the association of devotees. Those two things will help. Chanting will help internally, association will help externally. The reason I mention is, one day what happened was that I had to make a left turn. I was sitting in the car waiting for the traffic light to turn, and I had to make a left turn. And I'm in front of the TTs, I'm not lying. I was not on the phone, but I didn't see the light turn green. I was looking at something else. Maybe a lady was walking with her child, something that caught my attention, that there was a person walking with a dog, something happened, or there was a sale going, something, I don't remember what. But I was looking at that, the light turned green, and the person behind me got, yes, thank you. And then oh man, yes, I'm so sorry, and I made a left. Actually, it hit me profoundly. It doesn't matter if I am fully aware or not, but if I am in the lane where others are also there, then they will actually push me. So sometimes we are low in energy in spiritual life because of so many things that can happen. But staying in the association of devotees, there will be always nudge to kind of move. One last point, thank you. One last point is that the association of devotees is what you should be inspired with. It is not that the association, I'm sorry to say, ISKCON is a worldwide movement with no prerequisites needed. You can come, you cannot come. It's not anybody can come from any background. So you will have all sorts of personalities in this particular movement. So it's up to us to say, where I can find inspiration in Krishna consciousness, I'll accept that. Where I don't find, I respectfully offer my respects from a distance and be okay. So that is the whole purpose of association of devotees. Not that it's a caustic relationship or a caustic atmosphere and it's bringing me down, but this is I have to associate with devotees. No. Is that helpful? Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all the wonderful answers that you have given and guiding all of us. I would open to anyone, if anyone have any questions.
Yes, please.
So I heard you saying in the beginning that when Ramji goes towards Lanka to find Sita Mata, so they built an 800-mile bridge. But the water between Sri Lanka and India is not that long. So I was wondering what you meant by that.
My understanding, Bhavani, is that at one point of time in Treta and Dwapara Yuga, the earth was only one. So there was the continents never split up into this. The whole mass of earth was just at one place. And that's why it was called Bharatvarsha, which means it was just the whole mass. And there was only one thing that was ruling the entire earth at that point of time. Because of the tectonic plates and everything, they got moved over a period of time. And that's my understanding, but geological professors or others might give a better answer for that. And so Sri Lanka then, because of the change, whether it's the actual Sri Lanka or just the island that was near, I'm not sure.
So the bridge was 800 miles long?
Yeah. That's what Ramayana says. Yeah.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you. I will double check the 800. Last time I did it close, but I double check. No question is yes. Please.
So, Putri, my question is that when we are chanting, right, of course, mind pointers here and there, and then you bring it back to it. But then when you have some visual that you tell your mind to, it becomes a little more comfortable. So, what kind of visuals, etc., is there anything, form, shape, that we can focus on while chanting?
Each to his own or each to her own, Mata. If that your mind is amenable to seeing an image that can help you stabilize your mind on a particular path, then you can use a picture of Radha Krishna if that can help. But when you force your mind to project or to focus on Radha Krishna, oftentimes how much is your pronunciation and your hearing of mantra going well? If you can do three things at the same time, have your ear, lips, ear and mind focus on the same time, then it can work. But if not, just pull back the mind wherever it goes to. And when you pressurize the mind, how clear is your mantra? How clear is your pronunciation? That is quite important as well. Because I can project the mind 16 rounds. I projected my mind to focus, but if the quality of mantra is not good, then it doesn't. The mind won't stay on Radha Krishna for long. So, but if that can help, my request to you is: some people find closing the eyes helps better. For some, opening the eyes is better. If that is the case, you are sitting like you are sitting. You see the chair right behind you. You can put a photo of Radha Krishna there, sit in front of the chair, look at the deities, and then you can chant as well. That can help. But it need not be Radha Krishna, it can be your Ishtadev. Every jiva has their own Ishtadev. So it can be Nrsimhadev or Ram or whatever is your Ishtadev, you can put in. Or favorite servant of the Lord, for example, Hanuman or Prabhupada, whatever you feel more comfortable. A lot of devotees actually put Tulsi plant and chant in front of it. That is very powerful. So these are a few things that help.
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Ankur.
I had a question. So when you were narrating Sugriva's story, like how Rama approached him for his army, so this question came to my mind. Him being so almighty, why did he need an army in the first place? When someone who had power to defeat Ravana himself, what was his leela there? I was thinking of other avatars of Krishna. I can't think of. Maybe my knowledge is limited there. Where he tried gathering, was he trying to give them some sense of purpose or teach them a lesson? That's what I was thinking. Wanted to know your thoughts on that.
So if I paraphrase your question, then why did Lord Ram need to spend so much time getting the army together? He himself was the Supreme Lord. And he could have just vanquished. Anyway, he vanquished Ravan by himself. So why did he? So, as I mentioned earlier, Ravana said that I don't need protection from humans and animals. And Lord Ram, quote unquote, assumed the form of a human being. By that stretch of imagination, why did he even allow Mother Sita to be kidnapped? Couldn't he save Mother Sita? If his own consort could be kidnapped by Ravan, why even surrender to this god who can't even save his own wife? People can be quoting like that actually. So the idea is that the Lord appeared in a human form to show to the world what it is to have to be the perfected behavior of a person. Maryada Purushottamara, behavior was spotless. And B, he wanted to show that in the human form of life, you cannot do it yourself. You need to actually assemble an army and form that kind of coalition. The third thing is when Lord comes, his eternal devotees come with him. there are eternal devotees of every incarnation of Lord. So Hanuman is an eternally a servant of Lord Ram, and wherever Lord Ram appears, Hanuman appears. So there is an ecstasy in the devotees trying to serve the Lord in his leelas, and the Lord likes it very much. It's not he cannot show off his power, but he likes to enjoy the moods with his devotees, and together they kind of enact this beautiful leela, and that's the reason why it happens like that. And as you mentioned, Lord, in fact, why did Lord Ram even ask the ocean? Ocean said, "I'm not." He fasted for 3 days. The ocean didn't even come, and the Lord said, "I'm going to dry you up," and sorry again. So it's all the path of his divine leela. So. And when Lord comes, all the demigods come to help him, his devotees come to help him. It's a great party kind of thing. So if I say, "Uncle, please come, there is a great party at my home, and this is amazing, it's going to be this. And then you come to my home, I'm only alone. There is no guests. Like, party? So the Lord's Leela is like, this is like a transcendental party every time.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I have two related questions actually. So first part of the question is, what is the significance of, this is related to chanting. When I've done the chanting along with the video, along with the audio, so it feels like a race to chant. Like I'm able to keep up with that race although, but it does feel like a race to me. That I'm trying to chant as many number of times in the given shortest possible time. But when I'm chanting on my own, I've seen that I like to chant at my own pace, which is like, I want to sing. I want to shout, I want to sing, whatever. So what is the significance of chanting n number of times? Reaching a certain target, this many rounds, these many times. What is the significance of that?
Okay.
That is the first question. Second part is, what is the significance of chanting, sitting and chanting, versus reminding yourself the entire day, bringing your mind to present, because sometimes we are just wandering here and there. Bringing your mind to the present and to the breath, because as soon as you focus on breath and then remind yourself of Krishna. So trying to be in present and then reminding of Krishna, get reminded of Krishna in whatever we are doing. So that is the second part of the question.
The first part of the question is why a fixed number of times. Actually, you shouldn't chant fixed number of times. You should be chanting 24 hours a day, technically speaking, because the sweetness of holy name is such that I cannot stop. I keep on chanting. So technically speaking, Krishna says that always think of me. Manmana bhavana bhaktu, madhyaji mama. Always think of me, always worship me. So in that sense, we should be chanting 24 hours a day. But given the fact that I cannot do it, there have been many places or many retreats where devotees chant 64 rounds every single day, 8 hours, 6 to 8, 7 to 8 hours it takes. But you cannot do it on that level. And so your guru says, Guru ka adesh banta hai ki you have to chant 16 rounds. So when I chant fixed number of rounds, I am being subservient to my guru's instruction. Srila Prabhupada came to the West and he said that to get initiated you have to chant 64 rounds every day. Impossible, you cannot do it. It's like 8 hours. So when I leave people going to work, what are they going to do? It's impossible. And he said at least you should chant 32 rounds a day. And then 32 rounds, 4 hours? No, that's not possible. Then it's 16. 16 is the minimum. That's it. I'm not going to compromise more than 16. I have to chant at least 16 rounds. And that's how the number 16 came about. Now, the problem is that when you chant the names of God, you go back to Godhead, there has to be some guarantor. If I want to buy a property, and the property has a certain value, which means that it's a guarantee you pay this much amount of money, you'll get the property. When Prabhupada says 16 rounds, Krishna is guaranteeing you chant 16 rounds, then I will take you back home, back to Godhead. So when he gave the order, he gave the guarantee. So till we get the taste, we have to chant at least 16. But there is no, this minimum 16. You can chant like the whole day long. And there is such sweetness. So that is that helpful? But
Yeah,
more follow.
Yeah, can you again clarify? Okay, so then the number matters, that means?
Initially,
so
yes.
the speed, the speed, as I said, if I want to sing it at my own pace, sing it rather than chanting it, then I should just take it as an order and do it like that. This is how it is dictated.
I would love to sing it, but it will take me all day long. I tried once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You forget singing. Singing, you can just see like how many times I completed the mantra.
Yeah.
So I would love to sing all day long, but nahi hoga. So in 2 hours I have to get my rounds done. But then you cannot be, it's not a race against time either. I'm done in half an hour. I've seen people do that. But then if I sing Hare Krishna, it will go 9 hours. So I need a balance, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. So at least I do in a decent speed and I complete my 16 rounds. And Mata, it's one point I want to add. So what we are defining is what is called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means I don't have taste for the names of Krishna. I don't have the taste. I'm cultivating the taste. But there is beyond sadhana is raganuga or spontaneous devotional service for Krishna, where I can chant 72 hours straight without eating food or anything because I'm relishing the nectar of Krishna. So till that stage, we just have to be subservient to that number. Is that helpful, Mata?
Yeah, I got that.
I mean, in school maybe you say like, what is the passing mark? Any mark is passing mark. 15 आ गया चल रहा पास 900 आ गया चल रहा 7.5 हाँ पास. So there is a certain bar that the Guru says we have.
Do we have a follow-up question on that?
Yeah. So Mata, Chari Mata Shana. Yes.
Just to add to what you were
Yes,
saying.
please.
Yeah. So we talk about quality over quantity, and we were just discussing taste, developing taste for his name. If that's how she gets the taste, or that's how anyone gets the taste, like by singing it or by humming it in a way, in a certain it could be any. Then why does number matter in that case? As long as I'm getting the taste of it that way only.
If the taste is just for 2-3 hours that day and then gaya 2 mahine ke liye.
But if I do 4, but with that, the way that I get the taste, then does the number matter even in that case?
Once you get the taste, number doesn't matter. Till that time, one has to chant 16 rounds. Because how do you know you get the taste? Just because I like the holy name today, because I got initiated in 2000, and I promise you one thing, that I've been trying my hardest to get the taste, and I haven't. It is still a work in progress. So the taste is one day you have exceedingly there are things that have all fallen in place. You got the promotion, or you have, with all due respect, I like my in-laws, but you have no mother-in-laws and father-in-laws at home, or your boss has no headline, and everything is perfect and happy, and then you're chanting. That taste that you got was based on external conditions. The day you have a deadline to meet, or an Ekadashi that your stomach is growling, and you still are able to maintain that taste, then you have taste. So you should at least, when you have the taste, you want to chant. 16 rounds ke baad you are like, this is it, I need to do more. And that has to be consistent on a daily basis. Then the taste is coming. So it can. So I'm not saying you may be all exalted souls, you have the taste, but at least there should be some sort of steadiness in the taste. Like ek din aaya, dusra din gaya, that's not taste. Yeah, so Mata had a follow-up. And then, no, you had a second
question.
Prabhu, I asked the second question also.
Also,
My second question was.
so here is the thing. I'll give you the answer for the second question.
Yes.
Chant your 2 hours of 16 rounds. One more thing you asked is walking. Only sit and chant, or you can walk. Krishna says that Nam Akari Bhuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrar Pita Niyamita Nasmaranina Kalaha. That when you are chanting the names of Krishna, there is no hard and fast rules. Which means that whatever it takes to kind of continue. For example, I want to sit and chant like this for 2 hours without getting up. My back has a problem. Then should I recommend that you never get up and screw up your back? No, that is not the point. You may have to stand up, or you may have to pace up and down and walk. So based on the individual condition, you can adjust in a way. But then, I want to drive and chant, that could be a problematic thing, because A, I will never recommend it, because I will be sued. B is that your mind is always focused on the road, not on this. I have a funny story on that though. So I have a friend who bought Tesla, was 45-minute commute, and he puts on the full self-driving mode and he can chant. Well, I don't know what to say to that, but it's better than steering wheel and then with one hand and then trying to put the gear and then putting the indicating lights. Then don't do that. We can make time to chant. Is that helpful now? Having said that, I want to reiterate that there have been instances where my rounds have not been that great. Sometimes they have been good, sometimes they have not been good, because I have been either sick or I have to travel. But I never said that I will not aspire to get better rounds. Today I pray to Krishna that Krishna, my day was bad, that my rounds were not as great as I wanted it to be. But please give me the strength so that I can taste your names. I have no other hope in this world. I have no shelter except your holy names. So please, I beg you for giving me the taste. And then Krishna will listen to his devotees. Is that helpful? Mata answer.
Prabhuji, I related it to the other part, during your podcast you said, order of the Guru or the spiritual master. So take it as an order, even if you don't like it, or even if you think you can't do it. But then eventually you will get it.
And that is true of anything. Which child said that I love piano, that I'll practice like 10 hours every day, forgetting food and drink. So. Then once you get into it, then you just are like, just effortlessly flows.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the amazing answers, Prabhu. I have a question about two things. They could be related or not, but how do we develop these two qualities in us? One is detachment and the other is appreciation. When I say detachment, what I mean to say here is, again, like we all have heard, like how you need to perform a karma, like all the work needs to be performed towards Krishna. But it's hard because, like when I'm doing service, and again I'm being very honest, sometimes it's hard to not think about how people will look at me or how I want to impress people. How do you get away from that detachment and truly offer your work, your service to Krishna without taking any attachment? And then the appreciation part, Prabhuji, is that we are so much filled with judgments, assumptions. There's so many things in our minds. It's so hard sometimes to receive whatever is coming our way from different sources, right? Sometimes we revere someone so much that it's very easy, but sometimes it's not. But how do we get to a stage that we can truly appreciate and really accept any goodness that comes to us from any direction without, letting our mind play the devil's advocate? Oh, that person doesn't know much, or something like that.
You cannot just not do your service in vacuum, to your first point. I'll just keep on doing like a robot every single day. But I'm a human being with an emotion. I'm a conscious jiva. I want some feedback. And besides, the other point is Krishna pleased with me? That's a question you pretty much ask every day after your service. You know, I hope he's pleased with me. So there is a point of pleasing somebody, and all the way it ends in Krishna. Right? So that is one aspect. The second aspect is that I will do it as a means to please Krishna even if nobody is able to see me. So then you slowly come into service for service realm. I'm doing service so that I can get more service. That's about it. Don't tell the corporate people. You've done an awesome job here. Have more. So it will come over a period of time. And eventually you might actually need some guidance. For example, if you're doing garlands for the deities or cooking for the deities, you'll be like, I don't care. I'm here, I do it. Yeah, what are the standards? You know what? You cannot put too much of spice for the Lord, for example. So there are certain guidance that are needed, but when you become good at your service, then you are saying, you know, I've reached that standard and I'm doing it for Krishna, and I hope he is pleased with me. And one more thing is, when you do service like that, Krishna has a very nice way of telling or recognizing you through some way. He'll come. He'll come. Krishna will inspire. But you don't expect it, but it unexpected it will come. That's point number. Question number 2.
Appreciation, Prabhu.
Appreciation, right. One of the, shall I tell one secret about appreciation? Queen Kunti, for those who are keeping track, the very first prayers of Bhagavatam is from a lady, Mata, Queen Kunti. The first prayers of Bhagavatam is from Queen Kunti. And the story is that the Mahabharata war is done, all the enemies of the Pandavas are killed, the kingdom is stable. Yudhishthir Maharaj had misgivings about ruling the kingdom, but they approach Bhishma, and Bhishma clarifies everything, and all the things are done. The scene is now set that Krishna is going back to Dwaraka, because the battle happened in Hastinapur. He was there for many, many months now. He didn't go back to his city of Dwaraka. And now the scene is set, that everything is settled, and Krishna is ready to go back. And Queen Kunti, she is overwhelmed and emotional that we are going to miss Krishna. We are not going to be able to see Krishna. And she has very, very beautiful prayers. And it starts with Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya cha, Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So in one of those prayers, it is Queen Kunti mentions Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanta Bhikshnasaha Smaranti Nandanti Tavehitam Jana Taeva Pashyan Chirena Tavakam Bhavapravaho Paramam Padambujam. So she talks about bhakti. She says Shrinvanti, or who hears about, Gayanti, who sings about, Smaranti, who remembers. The best part, the secret is Nandanti, who prays. You can just make advancement in Krishna consciousness not by doing anything but by praising those who are doing it. Just by praising those who are actually serving, saying you are doing great service, you are advancing. He says that just by appreciating others, you are able to advance in Krishna consciousness. It is actually very profound, because sometimes you feel I am doing nothing, but just if you can keep that sense of me not doing anything aside and just focus on others who are doing and just appreciate them, then you are advancing. So the reason I bring it up is that is a very powerful motivator to see what others are doing that I can appreciate. Having said that, there could be serious problems with those people. There could be issues and concerns with the people that are really to be called out. Then one shouldn't have a blindfold either to not be aware of. But by and large, every devotee who comes to Krishna consciousness you all are the most exalted souls in this universe, because you have come to Krishna consciousness. So there is some good in you that you come here. There is some piety that you have gone through in your previous lives, and now you said that I am able to utter the names of Krishna, I am able to understand Gita. So you are exaltedly pious souls. So anybody who comes to Krishna consciousness must be there. So there is that small spark of goodness. Try our best, but I would definitely say the litmus test would be your spouse. If you can see good in your spouse, then you know. Rest assured, you can. Maybe it's a good idea to place it. You know, like, I hate my spouse, but maybe there's one thing he or she is doing good. Let me point out that one thing, and you can save your marriage seriously. Yes, Mataji. There's a child. Thank you.
Hi Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for coming here and giving your association. So I have a question regarding pitfalls. So as you mentioned earlier, all days are not equal. Some days it happens to me also. Some days my internal anarthas come on surface, like my anger or my injustice, something happened to me or things like that. So on those days it is very, very difficult to do my chanting. So do you have some pointers for such situations? How to, and I have seen that if I fight those anarthas on those days with chanting or reading scriptures, I am able to overcome them. It may take lot of effort, but I am able to do it. But some days it's become very overwhelming. So do you have some pointers how they can be easily overcome?
You stumped me with the word easily. I want to applaud one thing. You said that some days my anarthas, come out. You are actually much better than me because I have everyday anarthas coming out. But sometimes you can just have a conversation with your mind. Like, I'm overwhelmed with this blank emotion. Why am I overwhelmed with that blank emotion? It can be fear, it can be greed, it can be something. Then you can ask the question, why? Why is it that you are overcome with fear? You can ask an honest question to your mind. And if you have a dialogue with the mind, then you'll realize that your mind is being rather silly. So to step back from the emotion or to separate yourself from the mind that is producing that emotion, that can help. But if the mind is so overwhelmed with it, then it may take a little bit more time, but at least I can detach. Then you will realize I'm not the mind. The mind has just become an imposter who's taken over me and creating the fear in me. So because I am an Atma or a spirit soul, nothing to do with the mind or the body or the intelligence, it need not be a very advanced state. It can be, because I am Atma, I have the power to counter and detach from my own mind, at least for some time. You can close your mind now, and you can close your eyes, and you can ask your mind, I don't have to tell out, like, why are you afraid? Or why are you dash? And then you can I'll give you just maybe 15 seconds. Close your mind, and what is the overwhelming emotion that you feel right now? And then question your own mind, why do you feel? Alright? That did help. I know 15 seconds I said, but it's a very, very profound thing that you can ask your own mind, why? And you'll see that you'll not get any answers, you'll get an answer, or the mind is just stumped. Oh, he's asking me. No, he has been a slave all through my life, many, many lifetimes, and he was doing what she was doing, whatever I told. Now they are challenging me. Yes, because I'm a jiva. I am much more beyond, or I'm much more higher than my own mind. And the practice of Krishna consciousness, you talked about detachment. The practice of Krishna consciousness actually brings about that detachment from the world, saying that I am actually an eternal servant of Krishna. I am not the mind that has been telling me to do this, get that, go here, go there, eat this. I am not that. Neither the emotions nor that the myriad feelings that the mind is creating. I am not that actually. It will take time. Is that helpful, Nanda?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, but it will take time because the mind, because we have been in this material world since time immemorial and have had those patterns on, and the identifying with the mind and body is so natural, even though it is artificial. The artificial has become natural, and now from artificial back to natural is what we are trying to do. Thank you. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't know if this question is relevant or not, but as you mentioned that initially when we chant, it might not have taste. Like I'm very new to this association. Then what can be my motivation to chant? Like what can be my inspiration if like you have been practicing since many years and still you mentioned that you might not have taste. So yeah, what can be the motivational drive to it?
So one day I'll get the taste. One day I will just completely give up everything. Because see, Mata, I am undergoing my own spiritual journey. I am a jiva. I have been in this material world since time immemorial. Now, because of the mercy in this life, I have been awakened by Krishna consciousness or Krishna Bhakti by my Guru. Now I am in the process of overcoming it. If there is no joy in Krishna consciousness, then there is no reason to take it up. You will never come, correct? I mean, like, I'm perfectly fine. Why should I even do what I'm doing? But the very fact that each of us are facing the troubles and the tribulations of material world, and we know that, this place is temporary, then I'm seeking out the eternality of my being, and that is my Atma, and the eternality of my home is Krishna. So I'm seeking that. And it might happen in one lifetime, 1 year, it can happen in a million lifetimes. But the gradual cleansing will happen. I mean, if you see the amazing geographic formations that has happened because the rivers have cut through them, have taken millions of years. And my heart has been in this world since time immemorial, that, I need to get out, but getting out is impossible, or it's not going to happen overnight. So there is this inner desire combined with the fact that I want to serve Krishna, I want to be at the lotus feet of Krishna. Mahaprabhu says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamare. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavata bhakti raheti. Just give me that bhakti to your lotus feet, birth after birth. That might be the motivation for the people who are aspiring for Krishna. But even those who are like, I don't know what that is, merely by taking to the Krishna Bhakti, your past karma is getting destroyed and you are feeling some peace and happiness. I mean, how many people actually went to Vrindavan who had no clue of what Vrindavan was, but they felt an amazing peace and quiet there because of the power of spirituality. Is that helpful?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Or, one last point. I should worship Krishna only for spiritually and not material. Please worship Krishna if you have material benefits also. He will fulfill.
When you're answering this question, somehow Savri Mata got reminded.
Which one? Savri Mata.
Mata.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Hare Krishna. I have a question. So, in this material world, right? So everyone is riding on, on wheels, job, family, health, kids and all, right? So if everything is going well, and one can, continue doing the chanting and doing service, right? But if there is issue in one of those things, right? So basically, most of the time, your focus is going on that front, right? So at that time, it is very, it's not, same as, doing how you were doing before, right? So how can you, what kind of strategies you do basically, to take care of the situation, irrespective of the situation where you are basically, continue doing what you are doing?
So if situation becomes overwhelming, then how
Yes.
can we focus on spiritual life?
Yes.
Is that,
Yes.
Did I paraphrase your question? mean, why the situation has become overwhelming? The question is, why did the situation become overwhelming? Because life can go up and down like that.
You don't have some, at least here, you don't have some expectations, right? It cannot go overnight, just because, you have started having some association, nothing, you have to live in this world, so that's a connection.
Correct. And then the idea there is, if situations get overwhelming, then it is better to take to Krishna and chant even better. I will tell you, the gas prices are like $1 per gallon these days.
More.
What can I do about it? Situation is becoming overwhelming. AI. Good luck.
Make that reflex.
AI is taking over all the jobs.
Electric bike.
Yeah? What's that one?
Electric bike, coal, wood.
Electric bike, coal wood, ghoda. Go back to the old times. Rickshaw.
Cycle.
Cycle. Jokes apart, AI is taking over your jobs. So the question one should ask is, if the situation is overwhelming, does it fall under the concern of my influence, or it falls in the circle of concern? Sorry. Is it a concern or is it an influence? Concern means I'm concerned, but I can't do anything about it. April 15th is coming. I'm concerned about taxes. I can't do anything about it. I have to pay taxes, correct? Which means there is nothing I can do to influence that situation, later act on it. But then, so your first question is, when it's overwhelming, is it in the circle of influence, or is it just a concern? Oh, you know what, war is going on in Iran, every day you open the news, then your circle of concern is whole worldwide. And influence is nothing, I can't do anything about it. So, if the situation is overwhelming to the point that, and there could be genuinely overwhelming situations. You are in a road accident, or there is a serious medical crisis, or there is a forest fire that's coming. We had the wild forest fires a few years ago. There are overwhelming situations that need our, thank you, they are overwhelming situations that need our attention. We need to do what we need to do. There is a forest fire coming, we have been told to evacuate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. And there is a news that Iran is going to launch the drones on California. So there are few things which you can do something about, which you cannot. But most of the situations can be overcome if you can chant the names of Krishna. So overwhelming situation should be defined. How can I influence? Or it's a concern. It's a concern, I can't do anything about it. Might as well chant, and I can do something about it. So since you asked a generic question, I'm giving a generic answer. Is that okay? But then the overwhelming situation actually can rise to Krishna consciousness. Gajendra's situation was overwhelming. We know the story of how a crocodile caught him, and he was for 1,000 years in the water. He tried to pull back. Initially, he didn't go and pray to the Lord. So he pulled back, but the crocodile was pushing him back. He was pulling back, pushing back, pulling back, pushing back. Went on for 1,000 years. He tried his circle of influence. Then it became overwhelming. He said, I can't do anything. And he just took a beautiful lotus petal, offered it to the Lord, and the Lord came to him. So, so the overwhelming situations, if you see in the right spirit, actually can be an impetus to serve and to kind of surrender to Krishna. But having said that, if there needs to be done something, you need to do it as well. If you have been told to evacuate and the fire is like 2 miles away, I'll surrender to Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, don't do that, please. Pack your belongings. Yes, sir. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So the people in Krishna consciousness has access to all the scriptures, gurus, Krishna. But what about the people of other religions? They are not getting liberated, or what is the way for them? So, are we only the fortunate ones? Why?
No, that is not true. Every authentic religion that promotes love of God is a genuine religion. whether they get liberated or not, it's a bigger question. For example, here you don't have to do Krishna Bhakti. Vedas mention you do some fire sacrifices and Chandas Homa and everything, you go back to heavenly planets. You don't have to worship God. There, in other religions, they say, if I worship God, I eternally go to heaven. Correct? That is their definition of quote-unquote liberation. So, based on what a person's capacity was to understand, there were many religions that were administered to them at that point of time. Most of these religions have nothing to do with liberation from material world. It is just do good, be good, God will protect you. That's about it. But where will God protect me? How will God take me? Who is God? Is it like am I Atma, or a spirit, or matter? That's all not very clear in other religions. It is like do good, that's all. Don't kill others.
Yeah, that's what Prabhu, my question was. So it was not completely discussed in their religions. So they are not working towards spirit or the soul level. So, but we are have a chance to work towards soul level. So that means we are a little advanced than other people, or what's is there karma, or what's the exact?
Advanced in the sense that we are technically a little more knowledgeable than them. I'll give a simple example. I'll give a funny story. So, my neighbor's neighbor, she was an old lady. They moved in 1978, and she was doing taxes. So I went with, we used to get taxes done with her at work. She was doing her neighbor's taxes, and then after a few years, her husband passed away, and then she said that Paul passed away, and he's there in heaven with all my family, and I'm going to join them. I said, life on this earth was not enough that you also go to heaven and I have to deal with the same family. I thought a joke. I didn't say that for obvious reason. And the question is, the Christians don't believe in soul. They don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe in anything. And the question is, who is going? Who is going to heaven to enjoy? Because my whole body is here. Nothing, not a single hair is going with me. So who is going to heaven? So the problem is there, and it was spoken to the people who were not spiritually too advanced to know the truths. And God said, you just be here, do some good, you will continue to rotate in this world. At least in the next time. So in one sense we are fortunate, we have much more depth in how the soul is there, what is the mechanics, what is the karma, so in that sense we are more fortunate. But to decry others or feel superior, I don't think that is needed either, because our religion doesn't teach that. We are all compassionate to everybody. And we'll say, now that you have become a good Christian, now, maybe you take up Gita and explore the higher truths. Is that helpful?
Yeah, a little bit.
But what is not helpful?
That means
you are fortunate. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are fortunate that we can chant these many rounds, and then we follow the gurus, and then we get eventually liberated. But they don't have that access. They don't even know who is Krishna. So that means they are less fortunate, or what is that? Is that a different philosophy for them? Whatever, do good, and this is all material level. So again, material level doesn't help for the spirit. So how they can work towards spiritual level or soul level? Unless we work towards soul level, we won't get elevated, or consciousness won't get elevated. For them, so there is no chance for elevation, this kind of elevation. Maybe there are different ways of elevation of the soul, but then what is how it
was the mercy of devotee. So Prabhupada came to the West, and West they were like hippies, and they never had heard of any Vedic literature or things like that. But because of the power of Srila Prabhupada's bhakti, he was able to convert. So, even if you are a good Christian or a Muslim, then Krishna will make arrangement that he can get you into Krishna bhakti. And there are so many Muslims and Christians who have joined Islam as well.
Yeah, only few percentage, but the majority of the population, and they don't even know who is who. Who is Krishna or who is Hindu.
That's okay. That's it.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So for them, they are like, that means it's all their karma, or it's karma level, or we are fortunate to get, and we are working towards soul level and get elevated.
In one sense, we are more fortunate. But any Christian or Muslim who is like very pious and who believes in God, God will make arrangements because they have a faith in the concept of God, who is at this point it's unclear. The dynamics, the mechanisms, all those are unclear. But eventually Krishna will make arrangement for them so that they can progress as well.
Even in people of Advaita also, they work towards Brahman, but they don't personalize any God. So they are also kind of lagging behind if we compare to the people who follow personalized God form and then get elevated, get connection with the Krishna, and then but yeah. So how do we see the difference between Advaita and Dvaita?
Well, Advaita philosophy is something we are against because it destroys the connection, that loving service that we have in the heart. So we are against Advaita philosophy. We are not against Brahman though. There is Brahmavadi and Advaitas. Advaita is that I am equal to God, God is equal to me in all respects, and once I get liberated, I become God. That we categorically reject. But God is also Brahman. There is people who have realized Brahman, and so we respect them as well because they are realizing God as well. So there is that category difference. You can go a long scholarly or a class into the difference between Advaita and that, but I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. We can do more during the challenge. Yes, sir.
No, based on Venu Prabhu's question, my thinking thought right. Even though you started Krishna consciousness in this birth, there is no guarantee everyone will reach that liberation, correct? It may take many more number of births based upon what we practiced, right? At what level we advance, progress in the devotional path. That's my understanding, right? One life is might be sufficient, not sufficient, right? In that case,
But at least
how
we are
do we know,
closer to
how
that.
do we know in what region we were last at?
At least we are in this birth, we are a little bit closer, one step ahead from
They
them.
might come back to the next birth, we never know, because even my understanding, right, this birth.
We will be advanced in the next, because we are already doing progress.
If you go by
Progress
that
will help in the
analogy,
next birth.
if you go by that analogy, like, it is a process, right? That process, where it starts, where it ends, right? Even, like, my understanding is it doesn't mean like we just start like this Krishna consciousness. In this life itself, will get liberated. That's never like.
If there is a possibility.
Yeah, there is a possibility, but everybody won't, right?
No, it's exceptionally rare. Yeah, exceptionally rare, but it's possible. It's possible. The thing is, you said that we started Krishna consciousness in this life. How do you know in this life? How did you not see the start of the previous life?
That's my point, right? So we don't know like at what point, like in what birth, at what point someone like came into this path. So if we take back, we have no idea like, in the previous birth where we were. If you apply the same thing, whatever we are talking about other religions at this point of time, we don't know after how many births they might come back to this path or like right path.
So that is why Krishna Bhakti is so sweet. We don't care about how many lives. We never say to Krishna, give me, 40 lifetimes I have done. Now it's time you take me back. No, we say to Krishna, birth after birth. You may put me in this world for millions of lives, or wherever I am, please give me an opportunity to perform Krishna Bhakti to you. I don't mind. As long I'm here or there, doesn't matter. So in that sense, this becomes a little bit of a moot point. It doesn't matter. I can give stories from Bhagavatam, but I think we are kind of cutting really close. Where there is one verse from Bhagavatam that says that wherever I go, I only want three things. One is devotional service unto you, taste to hear your topics, and association of your devotees. That's about it. I don't want anything else. You can place me anywhere you want. That's your choice, just your prerogative. So with that mode, when you serve that I don't even want liberation, the number of births, it doesn't matter to a devotee. Heaven, hell, doesn't matter. As long as I can do bhakti too. Is that helpful? I know this can go on and on. But sir, you never asked a question. And Mata has to, no, she has to coordinate.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you for giving examples so that we can understand, like association, how we can get helped by the association. And I was thinking, what is taste? So taste for the examples you give, able to connect, understand. Thank you. While chanting Prabhu, the mind goes somewhere, right? To India or forest or to something, some bad things. So sometimes able to bring back, I don't know, maybe 2-3 gone, 2-3 chantings, not rounds. Like sometimes it's taking a long time, Prabhu, to bring back. How can I make it bring back quick or not easy, quick? I will avoid. How to bring back as soon as possible.
Even if those 2-3 rounds have gone without your mind wandering all over the place and done everything, the chanting is still yours eternally, because even though the intention was not there, like Ajamil's, the point is that even if you chant without having the attention, the holy name is so powerful it will act. You shouldn't use that as an excuse, but as a hope, saying that even though my rounds were faulty, I'm still, Krishna is satisfied, or the potency of the names have not gone. That is the point one. Point number 2 is that we realize that the mind is going any other place. Just bring it back. Hey mind, just listen to 2-3 rounds, 2 Mahamantras. My mind is went everywhere. Then hey, come, let's just listen to 2 Mahamantras. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then if the mind wanders, it's okay. But at least for 2 mantras, stay with me. Then go. 2 mantras. And then 2, 3, 4. It can help like that. We cannot impose the mind to say that I turn on a switch, now it will become 100% with me, and turn off the switch, it's 0. So always mind will play that game. The other thing is, Maharaj Ravana mentions in Bhagavatam that the mind is very powerful, but it can be brought under control by 2 ways. There is Guru Hari's Charano Upasanastra. The worship of Guru and Hari is something that can help control the mind as well. So, it's when these things about mind come, it's a very individual kind of thing on how your mind behaves. But one thing is not stop chanting. It's okay. Just keep on, keep on. Never give up. Thinking it's hopeless. At 30 years I'm done. I can say for myself. Still, there could be days where my mind is not, it's intensely focused on something at work. I had a production issue. I'm the incident manager, so I manage the whole QA and incident management in my company. And one production incident, and my mind next day goes back. What happened to that? Is there something? Is there a grafana that's still running on? What do you think like that? Just put it back. That is not me. That can happen. It's beyond my control. The only thing I can do right now is to chant properly, at least for these 2 hours. Unless I'm getting a call, which I have to take, interrupt, I have to attend to that. If need be. I pray to Krishna, please don't. Other questions, comments? It's such an interactive and beautiful audience, so thank you for all those who have asked questions, and thank you for all those who have listened to questions.
One more question.
Yes.
We just celebrated Ram Navami, and we also in the podcast stated some of the inspiration and stories, right? And we talk about Lord Ram, we worship them, he is called Maryada Purushottam Ram, and all of them. Right? So my question is a little bit different around one of the painful event that happened where he abandoned his pregnant wife because someone in his Rajya Sabha said about it, right? So there are a lot of justification stories why it happened, and all of that. But I wanted to understand, what is your perspective on that? Definitely, he must have done being a lord for a greater good for everybody. But it's definitely it caused a lot of pain to his wife, right? So how do you see? What is your perspective on that?
So Sita Devi is the eternal consort of Lord Ram. She can never be separated, and the Lord Ram will never ever be. So one of the things in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is Krishna and his Shaktis, or Lord Ram and his Shakti. So Mother Sita is one of his internal energies, or Shakti of the Lord can never be without his Shaktis. It is impossible that Lord can tyag his Shaktis. So the Lord is fully present with all his Shaktis. So Mother Sita is also present with Lord Ram at all times. The reason why this pastime was enacted was, there is, in the spiritual world, there is a concept of union and separation. In the union, there is happiness, but in separation, there is a deeper intensity to remember that person. Yes or yes? I mean, you can experience it in modern life. I mean, if there is a happy couple, then the couple, one of the husband goes away for some time, and the wife is deeply pining till they come back and they remember, so on and so forth. So the idea behind Lord Ram abandoning Sita was to experience that particular taste in Vittalamba, in separation. Externally, it might be that, because who can actually blame the Lord? Who is that fool? In this case, it was a washerman. And Lord Ram heard the comments while he was touring his kingdom, or he heard it through his spies. Who is there to blame the Lord, or which fool can blame the Lord like that? It was just a trigger for the Lord to experience the love in separation from Mother Sita, and that's the reason why it happened internally. And the Lord was always remembering Mother Sita, and Mother Sita was always remembering Lord Ram. In fact, when Hanuman goes to Lanka, she's mentioned that she was just chanting the names of Ram, always completely meditating. So there is a higher joy in the separation than just being in the union. So the Lord wanted to show that. That is the reason why it happened. Otherwise, there is no question of a washerman telling. And Lord Ram is the supreme absolute truth. He can decide this fellow is a fool, and I don't need to do it. He's the king. Who will question his judgment? But that is the internal thing. And the same gopis experienced in Vrindavan when Krishna went to Mathura. There was a joy in meeting Krishna in the Rasa Leela, but when Krishna went to Mathura, that intensity turned 100-fold. Their whole mind was just absorbed in Krishna.
But Prabhu, in the material world, does it not pass a wrong message? Like a common person cannot really understand that this is spiritual, it's a pastime of Lord. And there is a spiritual reason behind it. In the material world, it must have some reason, or how people.
The material world, it is to prove to the world that that even though here Mother Sita was already tested, correct? When she came from Lanka, Lord said, "I will not accept you," and then she passed the Agni Pariksha. And there's a long story, but we won't get into it. So you are already tested. Then the reason why the message is passed to the world is, the king has to be so strict that he cannot even favor his own family members if they have kind of doubt in that. So that's why it's called Ram Raj Mata. It doesn't mean that you all kick out your wives from the home and it's Ram Raj. It was that he was exhibiting the highest level of morality and behavior. Yeah. And the other thing is, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, that my birth and my activities are transcendental. And if foolish people cannot understand it, it is the common man's duty to know about the Lord rather than blame the Lord. Because on one hand, yes, mother, on one hand, oh, Krishna danced with so many ladies. He lifted Govardhan Hill. If you can lift Govardhan Hill, then go to the thing. No, I only know that portion of it. He did Raslila, I do Raslila. Lift Govardhan Hill. Further Govardhan Hill, I'll give you a small car, lift it. And I'll not even say pinky finger, use both the hands. Right? No, that I want to do. Or you know what? Forget other thing. Next time somebody says, there is a cooking torch, right? The torch that is used to bake, the cream brulees and other things, right? You say they put it into this mouth and say, now swallow this fire. Because Krishna swallowed the whole forest fire. Put it into the mouth and say, now swallow this, and if you can swallow the whole thing, then I will give you your heart. He will run away. She will run away. This is a joke. Don't do it at home. Please don't try it at home. We are serious. Mataji.
In the same context, so when Lord Rama came to take Sita to the kingdom back, after she gave birth to Love Kush, and she decided to get integrated with her Mother Earth, and then that's so why does she not go? Why didn't she end her going that way?
So because the idea was that Mother Sita at that point of time, she just went back to Vaikuntha. So where she was waiting for her beloved Ram to come back from an external perspective. But from the internal perspective, the Lord, she's always with Lord Ram in her heart. Because Mother Sita always, Mother Lakshmi always is on the chest of Narayan. The famous golden line that happens. What is that called? Anybody? Srivatsa. Mark of Srivatsa, a golden hair. If Lord Ram's or Vishnu's avatars, they have one defining characteristic that's completely different. There is a beautiful golden streak on their chest. Sometimes it's hair, sometimes it's just a streak, and that's mark of Lakshmi. So in that sense, Lakshmi or Mother Sita always resides in the heart of Lord Ram. This is an external aspect to it. Internally, she just went back to Lord Ram. No questions? Yes, I think we'll stop here because she runs the house. I'm just
No, it's up to you, Prabhuji, if you would like to continue.
It's completely up to them. I'm fine. We have all night. All right.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful answers, wonderful insights. It's so inspiring to know your journey as well as a lot of inspiration that we have got from chanting, knowing about chanting and holy name and many other things. So thank you for guiding us, and I'm sure all of us would have taken at least one takeaway point today home, and we can work on that. And I know this is so nectarian, we don't want to stop. But
we have.
Let's show our gratitude by chanting Hari Bol 3 times to Prabhuji. Hari
Hari
Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. As per the program, we do usually Kirtan after the session. I'll check whatever you prefer.
Sure. No, whatever is suitable. Whatever is the program, that program you can decide. I'm okay. If it's very great for Prashadam, then you can have Prashadam. If there's small people you want to have, it's your choice. Really, I'm okay.
Is Kirtan okay, or are you all ready for Prashadam?
Okay, for Kirtan.
We can have a short Kirtan maybe. So what do you want to do?
Okay. Thank you.
I am Shriya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare It's a chant, it's a call and repeat. When I chant, you listen and then you do. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
go ahead with our weekly announcements. First of all, thank you again, Prabhu, for the wonderful discussion, and we are really blessed to be in your company. So thank you. All right. So the first one is again, please be on the lookout for the upcoming events and the calendars. I think the links are there in our family chatting group, so please follow that. And again, like we have been sitting all these weeks, we'll sit our respective